Hey, good evening, everyone. It is Monday, September 3rd, and I am here in my robe with my Tag Heuer watch, my buddy Shane, and my cigar, which is not lit. Why am I sitting here like this? Well, I just watched Crazy Rich Asians with my wife. We were at the local cinema. It is a dine-in theater, which is wonderful. If you have a dine-in theater in your location, definitely try it out. It's totally worth it with the reclining seats and the food that they deliver to you. But beware, the food is where they get you. It's quite expensive, but that's okay because I'm a crazy rich Asian. Okay, not really. I'm not really crazy rich yet. I think I'm on my way, but I'm not quite there yet. But if things work out well, I'll be there soon enough. And then I can shower the world with my abundance, and I can also help those in need, which is my ultimate goal. And also, travel and live lavishly when I can. Now, getting back to Crazy Rich Asians, now you're also getting a perspective from two Asians, myself being East Indian. Yes, Indian people are Asians. I've actually had people question and actually deny that over the years when I've spoken to them, but if you study your geography, India is actually in Asia. It is considered Southeast Asia, so yeah, Indian people are Asians. Yeah, just want to make that clear. And then, Shane, my buddy Shane here, he's still a little camera shy, but I'll, give you a quick glance. He may just look like a nerdy old white guy, but he's also part Filipino. So he says, whatever. But anyways, Crazy Rich Asians. How was it? I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the dichotomy of the two different cultures, kind of the more American culture versus East Asian culture. And I also liked how they showed the differences between an Asian person growing up in the United States, where they're more Americanized, but they still kind of have a little bit of that, of their heritage in them, whether it was ingrained in them by their parents or other people around them. So that's definitely an interesting perspective and an interesting point and something that I lived with growing up as well. The dichotomy of the two cultures, or the clash of the two cultures. That was something that was always interesting to see, and I also, like I mentioned, that dichotomy of the Eastern culture versus our United States culture. The particular characters in the movie were of Chinese descent, living in Singapore. And, I don't want to speak too much about the Chinese culture because, I wouldn't say I've lived in the Chinese culture, but in a lot of ways it is similar to Indian culture. A lot of the various Asian cultures overlap in a lot of ways. Of course, they have their own uniqueness as well, but again, there's a lot of overlapping. But they're really, I don't know if this is the correct term, but you really had that caste system, which was really common in India back in the day. But you had that system where you kind of have like the really rich people, and they only marry other rich people and kind of keep it within all the wealth within the family. You just kind of keep inheriting more and more wealth and keep growing it as you go, and you only marry other rich families. For example, a heiress to a multi-million-dollar fortune likely will not be marrying a plumber, for example. Yeah, it's, you may not like it, but that's kind of the way it is. Some of that does exist in American culture as well, but it's really strong in Asian culture and probably other countries as well. I know it's big in Indian culture. I know with me personally growing up with my own parents, I wouldn't say my parents were snobs, but I mean they were very good people and they liked people for who they were, but there was always that in them where they wanted me to marry someone that was educated and from a good family, and maybe even came from wealth, things like that. Not so much just came from wealth, but a person that's respectful and comes from a good family. Uh, that's so pertinent in Asian culture, and I just loved seeing how there was such a big clash of that. For example, even I don't want to spoil the movie too much for all of you that have not watched it. All 10 of you that watch my channel, but there's the main character is a Chinese American who grew up in the United States, is a professor at NYU. She falls in love with another person of Chinese descent, but he more or so grew up in China, but and had only been living in the United States for a few years. Or sorry, I don't know if he grew up in China or Singapore. I think he grew up in Singapore. I apologize, because that's where the family lives now. But he grew up overseas, and then he moved to the United States for a little while. I assume to study and do other things. But then he was eventually going to be moving back to Singapore to take over his family's business and basically inherit their fortune and continue to build it. And then the family expected him to marry another rich Asian person, and they were going to grow their wealth together, so on and so forth. The family never imagined that he would go to the United States, fall in love with, a girl of the working class, someone that their family essentially considers below them, but fall in love and then eventually want to marry her. There is one part in the movie where the the main character meets her love's past girlfriend, and they certainly have a bit of a clash. I'll let you watch the movie to determine what that is about. But you just saw the whole, really all the drama, all the tension that existed in the family, and it even seemed like a lot of the members of the family did not like each other, but they were just too afraid to stand up to one another, especially the elders, which again is very common in Asian culture. It's something I dealt with growing up, but I've overcome. Now I don't really care who I offend or who I upset. In my opinion, respect is earned through your actions, not just because of age. Yeah, look at me. I'm a crazy rich Asian wearing a robe with a regular old T-shirt. Yep, crazy rich Asian, right? But like I said before, I'm not really a crazy rich Asian yet. Even if I was, I would still be wearing this. So, no harm, no foul. But getting back to the movie, so essentially, in a nutshell, the main character is a Chinese American. She's a professor at NYU. She falls in love with another person of Chinese descent. They go back to Singapore for a wedding that for the wedding of his best friend. The main character's lover's best friend. And in doing so, the main character meets her lover's family. A lot of drama ensues. They figure she's not good enough to marry their son and be in their family. More drama ensues. They almost break up, but in the end, they end up getting together. Kind of. I guess it's a little campy and unpredictable, but you know what? The overall story is great because it really shows the clash of two cultures and the dichotomy of growing up in the States versus growing up, in East Asia. It's a really good movie. I thought the acting was really great. I don't know if there's any real well-known, and there are some well-known actors. I just can't remember their names off the top of my head. The guy from the Asian guy from the Hangover movies is in it, so that's pretty cool. But overall, I loved Crazy Rich Asians. I would definitely watch it again. I highly recommend it. And I think it was a really good learning experience again for me, and kind of a reminder of the different types of cultures that exist in this world. Makes me really glad that I live in the United States and don't really have to deal with that anymore. But anyways, yeah, definitely check it out for yourself. I enjoyed it, and my wife enjoyed it as well. We both got a good laugh. Yeah, and it's a good comedy. You'll laugh at times, you'll frown at times. It's kind of both funny and sad, but overall, a really good and complete story. And I really like, you'll see this at the beginning, but they have a little bit of a timeline sequence at the beginning, which I found really interesting. But, definitely check out the movie for yourself to know what I'm talking about. Anyways, Crazy Rich Asians, great movie. And Shane loved it too, my quarter Filipino friend, whatever he is. But yeah, thanks guys, and have a good night. Thank you for watching my video. Please follow me on my website at ankitshukla.org. That's ANKITSHUKLA.org. And also please subscribe to this video and also to my YouTube channel. I hope to see you guys again real soon, and see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching, guys.